Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Nameless, the one thing you must recall. In the last episode, we left off with Yan Ho crying because he doesn't understand the math. Poor little guy. Let's see if we can cheer him up and get him a tutor. Oh, and we finally got a pretty picture of Lance in the last episode. But again, first of all, for now, let's deal with Yan Ho's problem. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. I felt sympathetic to Yan Ho, talking about how difficult math class is for him. I even feel like we might be able to get closer with this similarity. Yup, I wasn't wrong about math being mankind's enemy. It was at that moment. This math book is the villain! Ugh! So I snatched away Yan Ho's book and was violently trying to tear it up. Hey, wait! What are you doing? Those things cost money! So I growled like a hunting dog and attacked the math book. She was going to shred it to pieces any moment now. I'm going to destroy it! This thing made Yan Ho cry! I wish I had a buzzer to tell her she's wrong. How could she be so wrong? It's ridiculous. Don't take it out on the textbook. It's not the book, it's math itself. Yes, math is evil, not the book. I raised my hand to stop what Soy was doing. I feel sorry for the book. Soy suddenly stopped her actions at what Yan Ho quietly yelled out. And everyone was completely silent for a moment. After the 3 seconds it took for Soy to switch her personality, she calmly put down the textbook on the desk. Anyways, so, the yellow chick is saying that math is too difficult, right? Is it because I'm just stupid? Yan Ho, don't say that. That's not it. Math is really hard for me too. You just have a bad teacher, that's all. Yeah, you can live a completely normal life without knowing anything about math. I still mix up my sums and differences. Soy completely degraded herself and made a sweet smile. Anyways, Yan Ho, it's fine. Math is supposed to be hard. You don't have to worry so much. Okay. Even Lance, who's super smart, won't know everything. The class today was especially hard. Really? It's hard for even Lance? It's hard for everyone, so cheer up. Yan Ho's expression grew brighter. Phew, thank God. Let's just hope Lance won't come over and spoil it. Yan Ho finally stopped crying. Wow, that's amazing! You're so awesome, Lance! Oh no. He already solved every problem in the textbook. Every problem in the textbook? He went through the whole thing? Ugh. What spectacular timing. I broke out in a cold sweat at what the kids were saying behind me.
Wow, Lance, is there anything you can't do?
Lance, you're so cool! Look at how he solved them! How can he be so precise?
Come to think of it, the teacher asked him a question earlier. He answered without hesitating. It was so cool.
You said you lived abroad, right? Were you in the gifted class or something? I glimpsed and saw that he had written down the solutions and answers to every problem. The exact opposite from Yan Ho's textbook. Hearing everyone exclaim, Lance replied in his usual expressionless face.
There's no reason to be complimented for this. Since math is a simple study, where all you have to do is apply the formula to get the answer.
He must know how superior he is, and said indifferently. There will be students who'll feel despaired after hearing that. I'm worried. Especially the boy with yellow hair who's trembling right beside me. Lance stood up from his seat, and he blew his final punch. No!
So if you can't solve this easy thing, it must mean you're stupid.
Lance, no! Lance left the classroom, leaving those final words. Everyone turned ghostly pale after hearing what he said. Guys, you all know Lance didn't mean that, right? Such a joker! I was the only one breaking out in a cold sweat in this frozen atmosphere. This is all Lance's fault. He should at least give us a warning before dropping a bomb. Everyone stayed silent for a while. I was about to have the illusion that I'm seeing penguins in this icy atmosphere when... Oh my god! So cool! What? Wow, did you see how he looked at us as if we were insects? No wonder he's called the Ice Prince. What? I know, right? I wish you'd stare at me like that once. I think everyone's gone mad at Lance's attack. If not, there's no reason they'd be infatuated with Lance looking at them that way. They're tsundere fans, obviously. Like me. I'm wrong in thinking that everyone's getting better at distorting reality, right? I see. I heard Yan Ho's teary voice by my side. Ugh. I knew it. I'm just stupid. It was Yan Ho, and not the girl who was devastated by Lance's punch. I forgot that Yan Ho is still innocent, unlike them. How do I take care of this? I don't think that's true. Shinbi suddenly appeared out of nowhere. There's a great ancient saying. Ancient saying? Yeah. What does she mean by saying? What is it? Happiness is not measured by grades. I thought for a while on whether that was a great saying. A couple girls blushed and agreed with Shinbi. Hey, that's a good saying. I don't know who said it, but nicely put. Yan Ho's teary eye slowly cleared up. Happiness is not measured by grades. There's no guarantee that you'd be happy by being good at math. You can be happy with a lot of other things. Math is still unexplored territory for me too. No, it is more like a black hole. Right. Shinbi's really bad at math. I barely stopped myself from telling Soy that she didn't need to add the last part. Anyways, Yan Ho, there must be some other subject that you're good at, and you can always study for math. Yeah, Yan Ho, we'll help you study. I'm not confident about my math, but I can help you with English. Will I be okay after studying? Of course. To be honest, considering my own experiences, there are some things you just can't do after studying. But I had to make a little white lie so that Yan Ho can cheer up. Then I'll try my best and study. You'll help me, right? Yan Ho quickly cheered up and looked at everyone with sparkling eyes. I'll teach you, I will. I raised my hand first. Yan Ho, you trust me, right? Trust me. What are you talking about? Trust me, Yan Ho? Wait. An enormous barricade formed around Yan Ho, just like before. Naturally, I was pushed to the back by that huge wave. I worried to myself on how I'd be able to help him with his studies. But seeing the situation, I don't really think I need to step up and help him. I can only pray that there's someone over there who will only help him with his studies. I felt like I'd soon get pushed around if I stay around those aggressive kids any longer, so I backed away a bit. I felt like there was more distance between us other than the wall in front of my eyes. He always used to be by my side. But I can't hog him to myself. I should respect his privacy. Yan Ho used to always be by my side. He was so cute and adorable, the way he followed me like he was a little chick following a hen. But it's true that on one side, that worried me a bit. But now so many people at school like him, and Yan Ho gets along very well with them. So it's better for Yan Ho for me to be pushed away sometimes, like now. I waved towards Yan Ho, who was still looking at me from afar. I feel a bit down for some reason. I should just go out and get some fresh air. I turned away from Yan Ho, who was still surrounded by everyone, and left the classroom. Ice Prince. Yep, that's Lance. I headed toward the cafeteria for lunch as usual. Crowded as always. I waited in line for a long time to buy fresh juice and a chicken salad. Ever since the dolls became human, I started to spend less on doll items. And so naturally, I was able to stop eating ramen and all those junk food. As I entered the cafeteria, I saw Soy waving exaggerated at me from afar. I hurried towards her, afraid she wouldn't stop waving until I sat next to her. Huh? I was walking towards Soy when I saw a familiar silver head in the corner. Lance. He was eating by himself again. In his hand was a small sandwich and a juice pack from the cafeteria store. But no one approached him, as if he was surrounded by an invisible wall. Regardless, he just ate his sandwich like an expressionless robot. It is the only calm scene in this whole cafeteria. I'm kind of surprised because even though he exudes that icy air, I'm still surprised that people aren't trying to, girls aren't trying to surround him. On the contrary, Yan Ho at my 5 o'clock was eating, surrounded by his friends. The two seemed to be equally popular, but people always gathered around Yan Ho. What should I do? I should approach Lance, whether he likes it or not. I waved towards Soy, who's furiously waving her hands at me, and I walked towards Lance. Huh? I was walking to Lance when I suddenly felt furious glances thrown at me. At this creepy feeling, I peered around. I finally realized that Lance wasn't really alone. There was a girl hesitating behind him, unable to actually approach him. And from afar, I noticed 2 girls at my 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock coming here step by step. The air was tense from all the girls waiting for the right time to approach him. It was like an African grassland. Like he's a zebra or a gazelle, and there's all these predators slowly stalking him. To be more exact, yep, a pack of lions hiding out in front of a delicious prey. I can't do this. If I go on like this, those lions will tear me to death. I was about to head back when someone shoved me from behind. Ah! Oh, sorry. Thankfully, I wasn't shoved too hard. I just lost my balance a bit, so I was about to tell him I was fine. But Lance suddenly stood up from his seat, and I lost my words. Suddenly, all the lions stared at me, and so did Lance. Sorry, I wasn't watching where I was going. Oh no, it's my fault. I was totally spacing out. The boy said he was sorry and walked away. Lance glanced at the boy. Are you all right? As Lance talked to me, I thought I could almost feel the furious glances rampaging towards me. I hurriedly nodded to shake the feeling off. This is what happens when you space out where there's a lot of people. Lance sighed and scolded me. I looked at him with rebellion for scolding me when we're not even at home. But Lance suddenly changed the subject. Is that your lunch? Lance looked at my salad and asked. Yeah. All the girls stirred at seeing Lance talk to me first and continue the conversation. I mean, I can understand since Lance almost never starts a conversation. The more we talked, the more I felt heavy envy and jealousy coming at me. Meanwhile, Lance silently looked toward his seat. No one sits around Lance. And he looks at me again. What? Lance hesitates and closes his mouth again. He looks like he has something to say. Never mind. What? Never mind what? Lance stood still and didn't think to sit back in his seat. It was as if he was silently screaming for attention. Maybe he is. I was silent at the immense awkwardness, but suddenly I realized the whole cafeteria went quiet. Even the girls who were giggling with Yan Ho stared at me and Lance standing awkwardly together. It's a movie moment. I feel smothered by Lance's gaze and the awkward air. I was about to be suffocated and sink into the ground. There! A huge cockroach! Way to break the silence, Soy. Ah! Where? Soy's sudden scream brought an instant uproar in the cafeteria. Ah! I hate bugs! Harry, come over here! Soy urgently whispered. Whisper? Wouldn't she have to yell? Because I don't think we're close. Is this Soy's painstaking effort to save me from that awkward situation? Without hesitation, I escaped and ran toward Soy. I almost died drowning in that awkwardness. Huh? Where's the cockroach? Oops, sorry, I saw it wrong. God, I was so surprised. The situation calmed down, and I gathered myself beside Soy. After I calmed down, I felt my stomach growl. Ugh, I was so tense I forgot I was hungry. Thank you, Soy. Harry, look over there. What? Soy pointed toward the back. I turned around and saw Lance quietly eating his sandwich in his seat again. And a girl was marching towards him. Unlike me, she fought through all the starers and confidently sat next to him. Her uniform told me she was an upperclassman. Her curls were impressive. Hey, Lance. Everyone just stared as she confidently said hi to him. But Lance didn't respond and just ate his sandwich. So shy. I heard you never eat with others, but aren't you really the type that gets lonely often? So, letting me sit next to you is probably... Or is it just for me? Oh, you don't have to answer. I understand why you're shy, since there's a lot of people here. Let's talk when we're just by ourselves. You seem to like confident girls like me. What do you think about me? She rattled on, ignoring the fact that Lance never even looked at her. Besides, she was like some narcissist character from a cheesy soap opera. Is she joking? That short-haired girl who hit on you earlier was pretty lame. You have an eye, so you must have felt the same. I understand. I was spacing out when I suddenly came back to my senses. That short-haired girl must be me. I was feeling a bit shocked that she mentioned me, while Lance stopped eating and stood up. Lance? I hate someone sitting next to me when I eat, especially if that someone is chatty. Lance took his half-eaten sandwich and walked towards the front door. He threw away the leftover sandwich in the trash can and walked out of the cafeteria. Oh my! The senior looked shocked and just stared as Lance walked away from her seat. The cafeteria instantly turned silent. But to be honest, she wasn't that chatty. Was that worth getting that mad about? I think he was just mad at her insulting you, Ari, don't be dense. Lance stopped on his way out and looked at me. Like before, he seemed to have something to say to me, but his attitude bothered me. It would be nice for him to treat people better so he could get along. What should I do? We shall follow Lance. Actually, we should say first, the guide says. And follow Lance. I'm worried. I carefully come out of the cafeteria, using the back door, and I carefully follow Lance. He's definitely heading towards the roof. I follow Lance to the rooftop and open the door after carefully peering around. I opened the door and found Lance standing in front of the railing. Were you waiting for me? Lance! Hearing my voice, Lance turned around.
What are you doing here?
I thought you were telling me to follow you with your eyes. He had on an inscrutable look. Wait! I barely caught my breath and looked up at him. Phew! I couldn't even look at him all day because of the other girls.
I see you ran up here.
Yeah, I had something to say, so I followed you. Lance looked a bit surprised.
Did I bother you in any way? Go on.
About that girl earlier. I think she was just being friendly. You were too brutal towards her.
That girl?
Lance looked clueless. Don't tell me you forgot already. What? Did he forget already? At the cafeteria, I think you embarrassed her too much. You don't have to be so quiet in the cafeteria, you know. It's not the library.
Oh, you mean that girl who sat next to me?
Lance seemed to finally remember.
It's nothing you should care about. I did not like that person by my side. I only expressed my feelings.
Huh. He was too self-assured. I felt like I instead had to compliment him for being honest, seeing the way he was so unashamed of what he did.
And that person was rude. I did not like her talking about you like that.
What? Lance abruptly stopped talking.
Well, it is none of your business.
It's about me, so it is.
Of course, it's none of my business, too.
It is, you were the one talking. He was still expressionless, but he seemed sulky. Seeing his face, I felt butterflies in my stomach for some reason. Oops. I felt like I wouldn't be able to say what I wanted to like this, so I shook my head. I have to say what I want. Lance, what I wanted to say is... You still have to be polite to other people. You know, manners. Lance is cold. And in that coldness, I can't find any kindness toward other people. I first thought it's because he's a doll. But not all dolls were like that. I can't really explain, but... Unlike the other boys, I think Lance is missing some sort of piece of his mind. I think the sense of distance he feels towards others, like what I saw earlier, is a result of that. Every time I see that, I get worried.
What is that politeness you talk about?
Lance asked with vacant eyes. Those eyes were without malice, and were genuinely asking me what it was. He must really not know. I'm saying, you didn't have to be so harsh earlier in the cafeteria. You especially have to be a bit nicer to girls.
I think that is quite sexist.
He has a point. It's because girls are more sensitive. Probably. Not all of them.
Sensitive?
Yes, we get hurt for tiny things. For example, girls feel hurt when you don't say thanks when they hand you bread, or coldly refuse when you ask for help about solving a math problem. And when you ignore their texts. Are those all things that I did with him?
Did you just say text?
I must have overworked myself while listening to everything. Lance cut me and asked. I think they mean cut me off when they say cut me. To cut me, I've never heard anybody say that in my life. And he stared at me with a strange expression. Yeah, if you don't reply, it makes them think you don't care about them, and they feel sad. Oh, don't take it the wrong way. It doesn't mean that I care about those things. I added, remembering I texted Lance this morning. He won't care about that, would he? I mean, what I'm trying to say is... Okay, I should just directly tell him about the things that worry me. What I'm worried about is actually... You seem to build a wall around yourself. Then you might really become a loner one day. Tae, Yan Ho, Red, Yuri, and I might become the only people you have. I remember the moment Grandpa passed away. I still remember what made me buy the dolls. I can clearly recall the things I felt when I became alone in the empty house. Then I hid myself behind the dolls I bought and built an invisible wall so others can't enter. Then I was... It's okay to take it slow, so I try to be a bit nicer to others, just a bit. And knowingly ended up plating. I know how hard it is to be alone, so I didn't want that for Lance. Especially since Lance was the one who was by me when I felt lonely.
I am okay with how things are,
Lance said in his emotionless, cold voice.
But if that's what you wish, I will consider it.
I lost words at what he added last. I was surprised he didn't say it's none of my business.
But what that person said earlier...
Lance tried to continue, but stopped.
Never mind. I will try to show whatever that manner you call is. And...
Yes? I was thinking Lance talked more than usual when he hesitated.
You can eat next to me, if you are comfortable with it.
Oh!
You seemed to hesitate earlier.
The bell rang to announce lunch was over. Thump, thump, thump. My heart pounded louder than hell. What was that? It wasn't anything fancy.
We go out this way. I'll open the door.
Why is my heart pounding? Lance opened the door and looked at me. His eyes sparkled beautifully. His silver hair caught in the wind and raptured my eyes. During 5th period, I couldn't focus at all because of what Lance had said. Hey! Yeah? Can you give me your smartphone again? I'll download some more apps for you. What? Oh, okay. Are you sure you're not stealing the phone numbers out of my phone? I took out my smartphone from my bag and handed it to Soy. Since you have a smartphone, you have to become a smart woman, no? Only the device is smart. The owner is still old school. I tried using it, but it's so hard. I'll teach you everything. Here, I'll give you my number. I already have it. Really? Of course, I already have Shimbi's too. I know how to do that, you know. Besides, I didn't even have a lot of numbers in my old phone. My parents, who were overseas, my favorite Chinese place, and Soy and Shimbi were all the numbers I had. All right then. Right. Now, I, your dearest friend, will download all the necessary apps for you to become a smart woman. There's a fun little app called Twinter. Twinter. That will let you share whatever you want to say with your friends. Really? I don't know what that is, but please go ahead. I couldn't be bothered to do anything until now, but I felt curious now, seeing Soy be so excited. Well, since I own a smartphone now, I should at least try everything Soy recommends. Wait, I will download everything for you myself. Soy's hands got busy. Wow, so fast. My mouth dropped at seeing her hands move around so fast. What? You got a new phone? Isn't that the new Omnibus G? What is it like? Other girls saw my smartphone and swarmed over here. They seemed to be interested since it was a new model. I don't really know yet. I just got it. When I first got a smartphone, I had no idea how to use it. But when you get used to it, it's seriously a totally different world. It's like the whole universe is in that tiny phone. Wait, I saw on the internet, this model has a really cool function. Oh my god! What? One girl looked behind me and was surprised. I turned around to see what was behind me. Lance uses the same model! One girl shouted out loud, as if she just discovered something. Next to Lance's textbook was the phone I have. Everyone was talking about Lance's phone, but Lance didn't care at all. I mean, this model is the most popular one nowadays. It's a secret that Yuri just bought the same phone for everyone. Here, Eri, I downloaded everything. You're really fast, thanks. Now, since I got you everything, let's text. I have something to say. Soy took out her phone and touched the screen. Again, she was so fast I could barely see her fingers. Will my fingers get that fast when I'm used to it? Soon, Soy's text arrived. This is... What? This is Soy Intelligence Agency. Respond. Over. It's not a walkie-talkie. Intelligence Agency? I will report the situation. Situation Ice Arrow successfully terminated. Over. Situation Ice Arrow? What's that? I really like that typo. That fuss in the cafeteria earlier. You went out in the middle. I thought you'd want to know what happened. Why? Don't you want me to tell you? It wasn't that I didn't want it. My expression must have gone strange. It was because I felt as if Soy was oddly ignoring me from a while ago. She misunderstood my silence and continued to text. You should have seen what happened after you left. Come to think of it, that girl really seemed shocked. What happened? Did she cry? Of course, and a lot, like sobbing a lot. Of course she cried. She cried, saying that Lance looked at her and talks when he usually doesn't give a damn. She was so happy she sobbed. Oh, God. She didn't cry because she was upset. She cried because she was happy that he graced her with his icy communications. Thanks to Ice Prince, I didn't spend a single dime today. Heart. So, how is it? You got the text? Yeah, every single one of it. The phone wasn't hard to use, but those texts gave me a headache. Hey, now that you have a smartphone, let's talk very often, okay? Okay. Thanks! Class is about to start. The last day of class. Comrade, hope you survive. Fight on! You too. It seems the girl didn't feel hurt after all. Is she an iron lady with a steel heart? Or just a secret pervert? Thinking about the cafeteria naturally reminded me of what happened at the rooftop. What was that? Why did my heart pound at seeing Lance? I was about to wonder when the teacher entered to start class. I should push this thought back for now. I'm definitely not evading it. Definitely not. Then, my smartphone quietly rang. I expected it to be Soy and turned the screen on. While the teacher was opening his book, I checked it quickly. On a text I sent in the morning was a small text bubble. Thank you, from Lance. Aw, I knew he would respond after that talk. Oh, I have more! Let's see, okay, Lance said thank you. Soy's was the same stuff that we already heard from her. Tay said, I bet you skipped lunch, right? Text me if you're hungry. And Yuri said, Darling, I'm better. Mar? What does Mar mean? Mark? It's supposed to be? Darling, I'm a better Mar than that Ice Prince. Whatever that means, I think they left something out. It was from Lance. Is he still thinking about what I said earlier? I turned around and found Lance staring out the window without any expression. My face, on the other hand, heated up a bit. And we'll go ahead and end that episode here with the beginning of Department Store. Sounds like we're going to do some shopping. So now we've chastised Lance about his behavior, and hopefully he'll make some friends soon and start treating us better. Fingers crossed. We'll break through that tsundere exterior like we always do. Hope to see you in my next video, or perhaps some of my others. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.